Yay Media Group.
Hey guys, it's Stephanie.
I'm Trey.
This is your weekly dose of BS. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. Okay, there's only an hour difference between Montana and Dallas, and that hour difference gets me every time because I've been there for 2 weeks, so I feel like I am like in between a Montanan and
well, it's also a very different life there. It's just slower.
And Travis and I sleep in every day. Like we live our best. When I say we live our best life, I'm not even joking. We live our best life. He was sick, and I mean, it was one of my favorite trips. Every time I go there, I'm like, I could live here full time, but.
Well, you can't speak. I can't see because your ring is blinding.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I wore this on purpose
I love that you wore this with your athleisure
because
today.
I talked about this on the podcast. I was like, I don't know what he got me, but if it's this, I'm going to die. And he got me my dream ring.
It is so pretty. We were trying to guess what he got you, and you guessed this, right?
I mean, there were two rings that whenever we were in, that have been my dream ring that he's known about. Like I saw this ring 3 years ago at a friend's birthday party and I was like, oh my God. And I'm never like that, especially with jewelry. Like sometimes I'll be like that with clothes, but with jewelry, I'm never like, I have to have this. So
there's really not anything that she's ever like, I need that.
Yes.
You really don't.
No, if I needed it, if I like want it that bad, I will buy it. But this was expensive, so I wanted it and I had to save for it, okay? Because mama is, a baller on a budget. And so Travis and I went to Paris this year and I was like, what? And no place ever has this ring. Like this is a hard ring to get from Van Cleef. It's not like one of the ones that they just have there all the time. So we went to Paris and I was like, hey, do you have this, like, it's called a lotus. I forget, like, it's the lotus ring. I was like, do you have the lotus ring that opens up and becomes like, is two rings in one? The lady's like, no, we'd never have those. But she measured my fingers and she was like, let me see what we have for you. They had other rings, but it wasn't this one. And I was like, no, thank you. And also I really did not have the money to buy a ring anyway. But because Travis knew about that ring and there's another ring from them that was like my second favorite, but kind of down the totem pole quite a bit. But he went there, he worked on this ring for 6 months. Oh. And he said the lady was like, this ring is like a year out. You have to special order it. There's no way. And they had one in Switzerland that he was able to have ship in my size like a week before Christmas. But he had the second ring option of mine paid for and on hold at Van Cleef in Highland Park Village, just in case this one didn't come through. So,
it's
so pretty.
She FaceTimed me and showed me this. And then like the next day, I think you posted a TikTok on it. And then someone sent me a TikTok that someone made about your ring. And I was like holding my breath the whole time I was watching it, but it was very nice. And then I saw that you found it and commented on it.
It was on my FYP and I hate when that happens because then it could possibly ruin my day if I'm like scrolling TikTok for fun. And then it's like, and then I was like, wait, that girl looks familiar. And I was like, that's me.
That's the video I posted an hour ago.
Oh my gosh. And it was this guy. Oh, here it is. Open. How pretty.
Oh.
So open, close, open. But yeah, I did a TikTok on it. So I was so excited. And then I was like, I'm either going to get a lot, but you know what? People were so nice. I was like, people are going to hate me and do the whole eat the rich thing, which I think is so rude. And all of that. Like,
I was waiting to see like where the comments went on this.
But people were so nice. People were so nice.
And I am so proud of your TikTok consistency.
I have no idea.
And I think now you're just trying to post the dumbest shit just to see how far it goes, and it's still going.
It's still.
And listen, people, we can't support bad behavior. We gotta
listen. I use it like a story. Like I'm like, oh, this is what I'm doing. Like last night, I was like, I'm dyeing my eyebrows. Here I am dyeing my eyebrows. But you know what? People need to know that you can dye your eyebrows at home just for men.
I opened my app the other day and you had pigtails and I said, oh dear Jesus, what is she doing right now?
No, I mean, the amount of...
She's doing laundry. That was literally it.
Literally, yes. People,
all right, baby steps.
just in case people are excited about it. I don't even brush my hair anymore when I get on TikTok. I'm like, here I am.
People on TikTok though are so much nicer than on Instagram because they were like, love your laundry room, slay queen.
It was so dirty too. They really are so nice. I'm like, TikTok is my place.
They're like, if we're not nice, she's going to leave again.
I'm like, people were so nice. But no, I was like, you know what? I posted a few things. I think I posted like our outdoor like 3 outdoor things we have going for us at our house. We have like 3 little we have 2 reindeer, a sleigh, and 2 nutcrackers is all that we have in our front, because we are only there for 14 days of Christmas, people. So we can't do too much. Okay. And people were so nice about it. I was like, wait, this is like the bare minimum. Like this is 5 little things. But people are so great. I was like, wait, I actually enjoy posting on TikTok. So now I posted the most random stuff ever when I was there. And yeah, thank you guys for following me, I guess.
If you don't follow her on TikTok, what's your TikTok name? Steph Hollman?
Yeah, it's super easy. Yeah.
Also follow me. I'm trying to get as many followers as her, and I'm nowhere close to it.
Oh my gosh, Trey, you just have to put up the most.
I just gotta put my pigtails in and do laundry, I guess.
You literally should be like, yes, do the least, and you'll be shocked at what happens.
I was surprised I wasn't sure if you were gonna post this or not. But you kind of broke the internet when you posted that Brandi was on this trip with you.
Yes. I mean, yeah, so she was there with her family, and her youngest daughter is hysterical, by the way. Her youngest daughter has 2 boyfriends, Chance and Cruz. And one day, like she was never shy, but when I say one day, she like was running up the stairs with Chance's phone, right? And I'm like, what in the world is this kid doing? Like she's 4. And I'm like, what is she doing with my son's phone? So then I see her hide it underneath the couch, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I have not a lot going on in my life. And
just so watch this play out.
Yeah. So I'm like, and I knew Chance is like not going to be happy about his phone, right? So I follow her down the stairs like a stalker and to see what she does. And then she goes in the playroom and she's like, Chance, do you want your phone back? And he says, yes, Breland, where is it? And she says, well, you got to pay the tax. And I'm like, oh, she wants some money. I like this girl. And he said, and then Cruz is, as bad at me about, like getting in people's business, right? So then Cruz was like, well, what's the tax? And then she says, if you want your phone back, you have to kiss me. So then Chance is like, oh my God. So then, like she tries to kiss him the entire time. Like she calls him her boyfriend. She chases him around. It's very entertaining. It's very, very entertaining. She sent him like a little video yesterday and yeah.
Oh,
he sent her one back. And I fully am prepared to give Breland Chance's phone number just so she can FaceTime him daily and drive him crazy.
Ruin his life.
Yes, just so she can like drive him a little crazy. But yeah, so Brandi was there. She's not a social media person, so she did a few, but I was like, okay, do you want to? Yeah, but she, but her kid, like our kids got along great. It was super fun. She actually just left today. I've been home since like first thing yesterday because she had to come in late. Her son was sick and they, for some reason, did not change her and Breland, the youngest daughters. They like remembered to tell the airport that the son was going to go back, but not the 2 girls. So she had no flight home.
Oh.
And it's hard to get out of there. So, I mean, Travis and I drove. We went to the airport. We were supposed to be home. Oh my goodness. The day before yesterday. And we got to the airport. It was foggy there was fog everywhere. You could not see in front of you. So they were not having any flights come into Whitefish. Whitefish is hard to get in and out of anyway in the winter. And so we knew they were going to cancel it, but then it was supposed to be bad again the following day. And I'm like, we cannot miss getting home, right? And I didn't realize both kids were out of school today either. I was like, until we got home. And then they were like, surprise. I said, praise Jesus, I'm tired. So we drove from Whitefish to, where did we drive? To Washington, Spokane, Washington. Just like 4 hours to hop on a flight the following day at like 5 a.m. So it was super fun. Like had so much fun with Travis. I have my Valentine's Day all figured out there because we're going to be there. We're going to go to your birthday, which is right before Valentine's Day. I think we leave on the 11th. And then we're going to go from there to Montana because Travis had already planned like a heli skiing trip.
Which, explain what heli skiing is.
It's like where you jump out of a helicopter and ski like with your skis on. So him and some of his buddies are doing it. He's done it before. I think it sounds horrible. Like what a way to, I need to make sure that our life insurance is, I don't even think we have life insurance. I'm screwed if something happens to this man. But so him and his buddies are going to do like a whole heli skiing thing where they're jumping out of a helicopter and skiing. And then that's like 2 hours away. So we're going to be in Montana for Valentine's Day. And I'm like, this is the least romantic thing. I do not want to hang out with you and your friends for Valentine's Day. But also, I think it's very bad luck to not be with your person on Valentine's Day. So I'm like, I'm going to be in Montana. We're going to do this. So I was going to hire a chef, but not everyone's bringing their wife. And I'm like, you know what? If you don't bring your significant other, then I'm not feeding you.
Yeah.
So I have, for the 3 girls and their husbands that are going to be there, I have a reservation.
Oh, cute.
Yeah, set up. And then the day before, when the guys are heli skiing, I have a reservation at like the hardest place to get into at Whitefish. There's this, for people listening who are ever going to travel there, if you're able to get, I've never been there, so I can't vouch for it, but everybody that lives there who's our friend says it is the best food and the best like Michelin star type food. And it's at this hotel, like that's right down the Kandahar Hotel. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I think it has like 15 seats in it. So it's tiny. And it's called Buchanan's, and it's supposed to be super hard to get into, but somehow I got the girls and I reservations. So
fun.
Yeah, it'll be so good. So I'm excited. So I'm going to go back and then we'll go back for spring break. And yes, but yeah, follow me on TikTok.
Yep.
We're just getting into it. Quick break, and we'll pick this right back up.
Okay, so where we left off.
But we had so much fun. Brandi was there. Brian was there. Super fun. We had another couple that was there with their teenage daughters. And I was like, thank God I don't have teenage daughters, because the amount of like stuff they have on their booties when they go in the pool stresses me out. I'm like, they just wear thongs now. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm like, at least buy something to cover upward. Like, it's just you two and the adults. But yes, I could never have a daughter. I'd be like, ho, put something on. Never.
All right. Did you watch the Mary Cosby documentary? Mm-mm. I didn't think so.
No. What? Wait, I didn't even know there was that's something I would watch, though.
It just came out.
Was it about her being a preacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's about the whole family, and basically the whole family's in it except for her. It's on TLC. It was on Hulu.
Wait, her whole family's like...
The extended family
okay.
is, a lot of them are in it. And I need you to watch it. Maybe I am just like desensitized to some of this, because like growing up in the Bible Belt, we have mega churches. Like a lot of, I felt like what these people were complaining about was just like normal mega church stuff. But
like what? Because I did not watch it. So like what are people complaining
just
about?
Like, I think, well, okay. So if they were in the documentary, they were either mad that they didn't get the church and the money, or they were mad that they got by the church, basically. And a lot of these people, they were volunteers, and they said, I had this job for 15 years at the church, and then one day I was just let go. Well, yeah, there are a lot of volunteers in mega churches. Like if you look in DFW, these churches have, hundreds of thousands of square feet, and they have like on staff, like 6 people. The rest of it's volunteers. So like, that's not crazy. But you showed up for 15 years. You didn't have to show up. They weren't paying you. Like there was just like different stuff. And people were talking about like how much money they were giving.
Like, did they feel like they had to give?
That's what they said. But that's also a mega church thing. Like these mega churches aren't built on nothing. Like they're built on money. So it's,
I don't know, Trey, I'm going to say something. Yes. Cause I
think there is definitely abuse there, but what's interesting is, so what the family was really after was Mama, who is Mary's grandma. They were after her businesses.
Which are churches.
No.
What are her businesses?
A lot. She had a magazine. She had a media company. She had restaurants. She had real estate properties that she was renting out. She built other businesses. So this is actually where it's kind of genius. So she started this church initially in her home. And then she
used the money to do all this
other stuff. Other businesses. So she was making money, used that money to make more money, blah, blah, blah. So
I think that's shady.
It is shady. But that's also very mega churchy. Like if you look at any of the pastors around in Dallas, of big churches, they have many businesses. There are publishing companies. There are media companies. Which doesn't mean it's not shady, but it's like,
yeah,
that's a thing. So what I found interesting was Robert Sr., who is the grandpa that she's married to, he sought out Mama, and he was, I think, 20 or 25 years younger than her. So he sought her out and wanted to marry her.
Okay, because
he saw the money. So she did, I will say to her credit. And it does seem like Mama was like above board with everything she was doing. Like she started this church in her home and then it grew popularity and and then it became bigger than she could do anything with. But he saw how much money she was bringing in and he wanted to be a part of that. So he sought her out, kind of swooned her and blah, blah, blah. So they got married. Mary was kind of always the black sheep of the family. And she was married previously, which I did not realize. I guess they discussed this at like a reunion season 1. I just didn't catch on to it. And there were like, she was just kind of always the oddball out. And I think that's why the family is so upset that like she's in. But what I think happened was Robert Sr. knew like Mama's passing soon, and he saw Mary and he was like, all right, you're a hustler, I'm a hustler, we can like make a business arrangement to tag team this thing together to keep the family's hands out of the pot, because that's very much what that was like the whole family. Like they're not fighting over like, it's weird that she got married to her grandpa. They're like, well, why didn't I marry him? So like, let's not be
super weird.
Right. So let's not like, it's not that they're like, why would she marry him? No. It's why didn't I marry him? And like Mary's mom felt like she should have been the one to marry him.
Ew.
Right. Isn't that weird?
That's so gross. Yeah. That's weird.
But I think it's very much a business arrangement. Mary is not over the church. While she is, she's not. Like, that is not her primary source of money. They make money from a lot of other businesses and ventures. What I found fascinating was, if you recall, there was a guy that came on the show, I think it was season 3 or 4, and his name was Cameron. And he came on the show and he was talking to Lisa Barlow at a party and trying to expose Mary. What's interesting is Cameron is the one that got Mary cast on the show. He knew Lisa Barlow and he referred Mary to be on the show.
Okay.
And in this documentary, there is audio of him doing some interview that never got released. And this person was like, why did you refer Mary to the show if you don't like her? And he was like, because I wanted to expose her. I wanted people to see her for who she really is. And I think they now are. Mm-hmm. So interestingly enough, that guy died before that episode even aired. It was weird.
That's super weird.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And during the making of this TLC documentary, Mary's mom also died.
Oh my gosh.
Like, not saying Mary is killing people, but like just a little odd, you know?
That's super weird. Okay.
So this guy Cameron got her on the show, and then he was on the show. Well, allegedly, Mary had an affair with this guy.
Okay, and she's a preacher. Okay. I mean,
well, she's not a preacher.
Oh, she's not. I thought she was a preacher at the church.
She preaches, but she's not a preacher.
Who's the preacher of the church?
Robert Sr.
The grandpa.
Yes.
Okay.
But she has no like degree in theology and whatever. What was interesting about Mama was she planted a Baptist church in a Mormon community and made it like a big thing. So it was really like when she was doing it, she was the first of her kind. She also, any of the businesses that she created were very much like African-American oriented businesses. So that's why they gained popularity so quickly from what they were saying in the documentary. And that's why she found success in that, because people wanted to go to support that and all. So that's where all this money came from, but with money comes greed, and that's where the family comes in.
Okay.
All right, we got to stop for a second, but when we come back, this gets even better.
We had to hit pause right there, but let's jump back in.
I left the documentary and I wasn't gagged. I wasn't gagged because I feel like this is, if you would have told me this season 1 or 2, I'd have been like, okay, but we're in what, season 6, 7?
And you feel like you already knew that about her. Yeah.
Nothing like blew my mind.
Because it was already something. Well,
except for the fact that like maybe she had an affair with Cameron, but also like I don't think she's sleeping with Robert Sr.
Yeah, because that's her. Yeah, it's super. Okay, so I have gone to mega churches before, quite a few, just to try them out. They're not my thing. I'm going to be honest. Mm-hmm. Do not like them. I remember going to one with Travis whenever I first moved here. So probably we were either engaged or newly married, and it was one downtown, and I can't think of the preacher's name, but you'll probably know Ed Young, maybe. And it was Ed Young's church for the Dallas people. And probably a lot of people listen, and if that's your thing, that's fine. But I remember being very turned off. For one, I hate whenever I'm watching a preacher from a TV screen. Like, I could just stay home. Like, he was not there, which kind of drove me a little crazy. I'm like, why are we all sitting in an auditorium watching a TV? Like, this is the stupidest thing ever. B, every time he came on the TV screen, he was wearing a different like $50,000 to $70,000 watch and a different like Prada or Versace or whatever. I mean, I knew the label, so did Travis. And it was such a turnoff. And also I could tell he was getting a lot of flack because part of his sermon was how he just loved fashion and he was not doing anything wrong. And I'm like, if you feel like you have to get on the pulpit, which you're not on because you're on a TV screen, whatever you're doing, probably at a resort in Mexico or something, doing this sermon in like 5 different outfits and 55 different watches, and you feel like you have to explain to your congregation of why you have so many nice things, then you obviously know that you are, I don't know. I think maybe because I was raised in a really small town and I went to a small town. I remember when Travis and I started dating, when I say the church was tiny, like I was song leader at the church at one point. And I remember the church being so poor that we had to do an offering for an air conditioning unit. And Travis gave like $300 and people were like, oh my God. Like it was, he saved the day because we would have no air conditioning. So I was raised going to probably very humble, poor churches, if you will. And I do not like a mega church because I don't think that that's what should be. I think if you have all that money coming in, don't buy the Rolexes, don't buy the Louis Vuitton, don't buy all the stuff. Like, do good in the community. Use that money to do good in the community. No pastor, in my opinion, should be having private jets, all these businesses, all of this. Like Ron, the guy, the almost 99-year-old guy that lives in our guest house, calls it the God business. He's like, it's the best business in the world. It's, this God business because you make so much money. It's tax-free. And there's a lot of, I think, kind of like fraudster type pastors who I just don't think that's what God wants.
So I grew up going to that church.
Yes.
But like since I was like 2, and I eventually like volunteered in like the kids programs, and then just through friends that I knew a lot about like what was going on behind the scenes because I knew people that were like head of security for him and all this stuff. And it was always knew about the plane. I mean, I always knew about the plane. Knew that like the car he drove to church was like an armored car, but then there were like Rolls Royces and Ferraris at home kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
So that's why I was like, well, that's not, but then you get out of the church, you're like, oh no, wait, what?
Yeah. I just don't like it. I also went to Potter House once with a friend, and which is a huge church again. And it was a great service. Like the sermon was amazing, but I was kind of turned off because I felt like it was weird because it felt more like I'm going to say this. I was given VIP parking. And I thought that was very strange because it's a church. I don't feel like anybody should be treated different than other people. And you had people that were treated like that could park close. I appreciate the close parking, but also I don't love
like pregnant moms should be parking close.
Yeah. Like I felt like it was kind of weird to be like, oh, here's, you're given I don't know. It just was weird, but I've gone to quite a few and they're just not my thing. And also like I am somebody who has listened to Joel Osteen and I think he's a great motivational, like sometimes he'll like motivate the crap out of me if I'm sad. But I also don't really I don't know. I just don't love the abundance of like showy wealth. And I think if you have that much, you should be using it to serve the population around you.
I remember, this was, forever ago, someone that we're friends with now. I remember I used to see her, we used to go to the same church, and I would see her come in and she would get walked in by security, and she was always wearing the most beautiful, like Alexander McQueen dresses, but she would get walked in by security, like at the very end. And it was like, not she was not pushing this. I think they were doing this because she was friends with the pastor. But there was definitely a level of VIP service that
it's like a hierarchy, which I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just me and people.
I have
may
a theory because Zach and I have been going to the same church for 5-6 years. And we just recently started going somewhere else because I started seeing the same thing happening with this church that happened at the church that I grew up in. And I have a theory. My theory is that I think these churches, because you go from a small building to a $25 million huge campus that just underwent a $5 million renovation. They have, all this stuff now. And this church I watched like with my own eyes and in attendance go from having this very humble, maybe 5,000 square foot building to now having 35,000 square feet that we needed to raise $20 million for. And now we have this building, and all of a sudden there is a school, and there is a college, and there is a coffee shop, and there are books that are being published, and there is now a podcast, and there's now a YouTube series, and there's all these different verticals of business that come out of nowhere. I think there's some like VC group that comes in and like takes over these churches and is like, hey, we're going to put you through the system to make you like wildly profitable. And I think that's where things go wrong.
I could see that. And I also can see why people in Salt Lake, maybe that aren't fans of the show, would be a little bit like, because Mary's very flashy. I could see that because I'm one of those people in Dallas who like I would never give, I love the Lord, but I would never give my Travis and I's hard-earned money to a church where the pastor is that flashy and has that much stuff. I just wouldn't do it. I would rather give it to a charity. I'd rather give it to, there's so many things I think you can do with your money than I'm not going to pay for somebody's private jet when I don't even have one. Let's be honest.
Well, and I think there are people, unfortunately, in the world that will slap a God sticker on anything and say like, here's what, that doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah. Yes.
So Zach and I haven't talked about this. I sent an email actually to the pastor of the church that we went to not too long ago because he did a sermon and did I talk about this on the podcast? I don't think so. It was kind of weird. And I had some friends that were in the same service with us. And I texted them afterwards. I was like, what did you think of that? And they were like, I was actually going to text you. And I was like, so what'd you think? And there was a moment where he was comparing a straight man having an affair on his wife, that sin was equal to a man marrying another man. And I was like, I disagree with that. I think that me being in a committed monogamous relationship with my husband is not the same as a straight man going and hoeing around. Like, I don't fully agree with that. So I sent him an email and I was like, hey, and it was very nice. Like I put it in ChatGPT. I said, make this nice. And I was just like, I just want to understand like what the church's stance is on this because he had never discussed it before. And I always felt very welcome there. And not that I don't now, but the whole point of my email was like, hey, my husband and I are looking to have kids. And I just want to make sure if I'm planning my kids in a church that I fully understand what the values of the church are. And I want to make sure that if we raise our kids here, that you one day don't tell our kids that, hey, your dads need to get divorced because the Bible says so. So what's your stance? And he was like, well, unfortunately, that is what the Bible says, is you and your husband need to get divorced in order to live a God-centered life. And I was like, hey, you know what? Got it. Thank you for explaining that. I'm glad I understand what the church's stance is.
Yeah.
And left it at that. And then we didn't go back. But
but I felt like the way, because you sent me his email, I felt like he did the best.
I think he did the best he could. And I give him full credit for that. Yeah, because I understand that like there are, you could open the door to a bunch of different Looney Tunes. Yeah. If you're like, so totally got it. He did the best he could with that. But it's one of those things. It's like, that is something, unfortunately, I have to think about. And I think it makes it difficult to trust churches now because while you're going to a church tied to, it's a non-denominational or it's a Baptist church, whatever, you are still getting that pastor's interpretation of the message. And that's what you're buying into. It can make it difficult. And their interpretation isn't always biblically accurate.
Yes. Well, I remember, so I went to that same church that Trey went to with Travis and the kids, and I was so excited because I was like, I hadn't been for a while to this church.
And we had gone before to their old building, and it was great.
And it was so great. And I loved the old building.
VC firm.
And I was like, okay, I'm, one Sunday I was like, oh, let's try this church. And it was very different. It was in the new building and it was very, very different. But again, I don't love a mega church. And I felt like it turned into a mega church. And the wife was the preacher and her whole sermon was like, how dare anybody say anything negative about this church? Like pretty much it was just the weirdest thing. And I don't know. It was kind of reminding me of the Ed Young thing where they were
got exposed. This was like 12 years ago. Some former staff member, their NDA was up and they went to the news and they were like, hey, here's the tail number to the plane. Here's the address to all their houses. Here's the license plates for all their cars. Like, they're not who you think they are. And they got exposed and they kind of did a whole sermon on like, well, here's why I have the plane. And like, here's why I have the houses. And it was like, okay.
But yeah, so it's just not my, and I called Trey afterwards and I was like, I don't think I'm going to go back because it's just not, I do not love a mega church. I just don't love them. I know some people love them. Not my thing, but I guess to each
their own. And I think there's a lot of good that mega churches can do, especially with the resources that they have. But did you see the girl on TikTok? She called, and there were a handful in Dallas that she called, saying, hey, I have a starving baby. Do y'all have baby formula? And a lot of them were like, are you a member here?
Yeah.
That's not what the Bible says.
It's kind of crazy.
But that's our church rant.
Yeah. So I don't know where that got off, but
Mary Cosby.
Oh, Mary Cosby. Yes. But so
but watch the documentary. It's very interesting.
Okay. I will. I'm going to watch it. That's something I'd be very interested in. I don't think it's
going to change your mind about her by any means. Like,
no, I think by now you know who she is, right?
Yeah.
Like she's kind of unapologetically her, which I think is why one of the reasons people really like her.
Absolutely. And it's so refreshing in housewife world to have someone that just says what they're thinking. And let's be honest, what we're thinking. And they're just unapologetic about it, because on these shows, there are so many people that are trying to build this perfect life. And that's what they want to portray. And she is just her.
Yeah.
And she doesn't really care. She doesn't watch the show. She doesn't read the tweets. Like she shows up when she wants to show up, and then she goes home.
Which is good for her. Good for her. Yes. Yes. On that note, thank you guys so much for listening and supporting. You can follow me at Steph Hollman on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
You can follow me at Trey_Stewart. You can follow our podcast at BS the Podcast. And you can watch us on YouTube at We Could Have Said BS. Bye.